Listen, kid, the world you've just been dropped into is a world very few people get to see. What we're engaged in here is a polite war.
This thing that Kozlo wants so badly, what is it?
It's an encrypted list of 25 people who have sold or traded state secrets.
Your name's on that list, isn't it?
You have a vivid imagination. That's a very dangerous thing.
Stay down! Get behind something solid! Stay here!
My wife and I were traveling across country, and we were in St. Louis, and we arrived at our hotel, we'd parked up, and we went for dinner. And I had my Filofax, everything in it, credit cards, passport,
right.
everything. I left it in the back of a cab
In St. Louis.
and didn't realize until we'd had dinner and we were about to pay the bill. And I went, where the restaurant phoned the cab company, the cab driver came all the way back to the restaurant.
And they gave it back to you?
Yeah.
You know why, don't you? That's like Midwestern hospitality.
Yeah.
Man, I was so impressed. I was so
Amazing.
I come from London. I thought I'm never going to see that again.
No, you're never going to see
And
it
they're going to
again.
call up everyone you know and embezzle their money. Or something.
He got the biggest tip he's ever seen.
It's great. Good that you rewarded a good deed.
Well, you know, that's a great segue as we talk about abduction. 'Cause you're talking about tip, and one of the cool things that I noticed in this movie is that you got this young, fresh talent. What is it like to work with somebody like that, you know, in the business? And do you give them advice? Do you give them certain tips as you're working with someone like a Taylor Lautner?
Well, I wouldn't be so presumptuous as to give anyone any advice, but I found it invigorating, didn't you?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
They certainly, you know, when I was working with them, they certainly had hit the ground running, and they knew their characters, and they were absolutely on. And in between setups, we just did goofy things like do fat booth and things like that on our iPhones. We certainly weren't talking about acting. We were just, you know, it was a very intense movie, but I was happy to see they were also just, you know, just kids, you know.
And when you work with someone like that, that's young and fresh, do you think back to the days when you were young and fresh? Because everybody has a starting point. No matter when it is, you have a starting point. And do you think back to your starting point? And what were some of your biggest challenges when you first got going in this business as an actor?
Yeah, well, I think you do see you do think of yourself. I mean, it always reminds me of you know, when I started. I mean, I've been acting for about 35 years, and I was 21 when I started working professionally. And so you're always reminded, but I find it in a very positive way, because you're reminded about working with Taylor and Lily, for instance. Actually reminded me why I became an actor in the first place. You know, their energy and the drive that they displayed, and the preparation, the fact that they were absolutely, you know, Sigourney's absolutely right, absolutely ready to go from day one. I remember doing that. You know, I remember having that desire, that need to kind of just, this has got to work. I've got to make this work. And it's, but what they had, which I certainly didn't have when I was that age, was this incredible way that they could just be very relaxed about it.
Yeah.
And very confident, and a sense of, I mean, working with both of these young actors, you could easily imagine that they've been doing this for years and years and years. You know, I never had that kind of confidence when I was that age.
Certainly didn't. I was just so tall that it was all I could do to kind of walk across a room, let alone like carry a movie.
And you're still tall.
I know.
Yes, you're still tall, right?
Still working on it.
So you're still working on the confidence
That's
that you
right.
need to walk across a room at the height that you are.
There you go. Not fall over.
I kind of believe that and kind of sort of find it hard to believe, but
But those are both true. It's true and it's not true.
okay, well, we'll go with it. That's a very refreshing reveal, though. that is hard. But how do you stay refreshed? What gets you excited? Is it a project like this and working with a director like a John Singleton and young talent that keeps you going? Because, you know, like you said, you've both had long, very, very successful careers. How do you keep that energy and adrenaline going?
Well, working with people you admire helps. Getting a chance. I mean, I was always a fan of John's movies, so getting a chance to work with him was kind of exciting. Working with young actors that I hadn't worked with before, it's all those elements that, you know, make it fun and appealing.
Yeah, I love working with young people. We have a theater in New York called the Flea Theater, which I hope you'll come down and visit.
Okay.
It's in Tribeca. It's off Broadway, and we have a young company that joins us every year, about 50 young actors. It's a very diverse group, and they do all kinds of things. And the older actors like myself are thrown together with them, and it just is so, you're together as equals. You're all ignited by the same passion, but they can see that I still work as hard as I ever did, and I can see that they're, and it really is, it's a great industry, a great life, because it doesn't matter what age you are. It's always challenging. You always think, oh, Christ, how did I do this? The first day of every movie, I'm still like, my God, how do I do this again? Is it going to work? And then you just have to trust your instincts and go.
That is so reassuring. I thought it was just me.
It's true,
no,
though.
that sounds
It's funny,
fantastic.
isn't
So
it?
next time I'm in New York, I would definitely pay
Please,
a
FLEA.
Okay, I will definitely pay a
theflea.org.
visit, and congratulations. Big fan of your work. Congratulations.
Thank
Big fan
you.
of your work. So thanks a lot for staying fresh and,
you.
being true to new talent. That's always cool to hear. So thank you very
So
much.
much.
Who are you, really?
I'm one of your keepers, Nathan. I'm put in place to look after you. It's the arrangement I made with your father in case something like this ever happened.
This is crazy. Call the police or something.
I already tried.
She has heard too much already.
What?
Are you serious?
As soon as you can, dump those clothes.
Don't lose that kid.
Now, in less than 20 seconds, we're gonna hit a soft curve before the bridge. I'm gonna slow down just enough for you to jump out.
Jump?
It's 30 feet down to the river
Dr. Bennett, this is insane.
15 seconds. And remember, from now on, do not trust anybody.
I need answers.
You've been looking for answers your whole life. You just didn't know what questions to ask. Now you have 10 seconds to open that door.
I don't know if I can handle this.
5 seconds. Leave the girl. You're better off alone.
Where am I supposed to go?
Take a breath.
Jump!
It's gonna be okay.
Now!